Greetings all, Ferrari-bound 601 here. Welcome back to Flight Simulator 2020 and welcome back to Silverstone in the United Kingdom. This seems awfully familiar, doesn't it? Well, yes. I must admit to all of you that I am, in fact, woefully incompetent, because the last time we tried to do this, as in finding Silverstone, well, to make a long story short, we went the wrong way. And the reason why we went the wrong way is a matter of perspective. You see, when I had scouted this out on Google Earth, it looked to be a very academic affair. Fly runway heading, turn left, and Silverstone is literally right there. What I didn't realize I had done was that I had accidentally oriented the map so that north was down and south was up, which meant that I had everything in my head transposed by 180 degrees, which meant that when we flew out of runway 27, we were going the wrong way. So then my left turn really should have been a right turn, and then my turn to the north really should have been a turn to the south, and vice versa, and we ended up in all sorts of trouble because I ended up over Brackley rather than over Northamptonshire and Silverstone. Where we did actually end up, though, the airfield that I thought looked awfully weird was actually Hinton. Yes, it was not Plymouth like I had looked up and like the simulator had suggested in terms of the ICAO code, which is weird. But nonetheless, it was not Silverstone. It was not some strange time warp in which I had thought that the simulator had forgotten that Silverstone was no longer an RAF bomber base. And yes, it's a mistake on my part, and I'm keenly aware of how ridiculous it looked. However, considering that I show everything on this channel, including the things that go badly, yeah, that's what happened, but we're going to try and put that right now. We got our same Diamond DA62 right here, and we're getting some electricity in it right now. We'll get our G1000s all squared away. There we go. And we've got some fuel going to the engines now. We'll get our left engine started. And we are running. We'll get our right engine started. And yes, the engine fired. Get our alternators on. Get our battery master off. Get our avionics power on. Get pitot heat on just to silence the caution warning. The plan now: fly runway heading, make a little bit of a left turn, and Silverstone should be that way. Not that way. And certainly not that way. Regardless, parking brakes released, flaps are in takeoff position, throttle up, full throttle, prop RPM coming up, and we are rolling. Airspeed, waiting for it. Airspeed's alive. There's 30 knots. We'll be looking for liftoff here at around 85 or so. There's 70, 75, 80, 85. Pull back. We're up. Got a positive rate. Gotta make that a little bit more of a positive rate if we're going to clear the trees. Gear coming up. Flaps coming up, gear up, and flaps are retracted. Now, it should not take very long at all for Silverstone to come into view as we continue to climb out here at about 1,300 feet per minute. See a lot of activity over that way. This buffeting is just some lower level turbulence. Yeah, that area immediately off of the left engine is very intriguing to me. About 1,500 feet. I'm going to make a turn over in that direction. And yeah, I see a perimeter road that looks an awful lot like a racetrack. I see some definitely disused and built over runways in the middle. Yeah, that's Silverstone. See how easy that was supposed to have been last time? That's why I became so confused basically right off of the deck, because it just didn't make sense, and now I know exactly why it didn't make sense. It was all transposed by 180 degrees. Up was down and down was up, and I'm sure it just made me look like a big idiot because, well, I am a big idiot. But that's Silverstone, no question about it. Very much. Yep, there's the loop, the farm section. There's the Wellington Straight coming down into the old Priory corner there. There's the old bridge corner. There's Luffield. And Woodcut is just where the cockpit instrument panel starts to come in. Drop the wing and we should see Cops. There's Cops. How's that? Now, the real question is going to be, is the circuit going to be traversable on the ground? Yep, there's the exit of Cops and Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel. There's the Hangar Straight. What is that across the Hangar Straight? Is that a bridge? Is it a ground level bridge? Yep. So, already from the air, I can tell you that Silverstone is not passable. But, coming into Stowe, there's the Vale and start-finish. Start-finish appears to be clear of obstructions. The Abbey corner appears to be clear. Farm and the loop. Wellington Straight. Is that a bridge across Wellington as well? Yes, it does appear to be. So, the Wellington Straight does not appear to be good for a landing, nor does the Hangar Straight. Old start-finish. There's a gigantic building across the old start-finish. So that's no good. Where can we land at Silverstone? May one of those old runways be actually something that's usable? One of the runways is the Wellington Straight now, which we have already established is not passable. Remnant of the other runway. That's going to be real tricky. It's going to be real tricky. Hangar Straight is not landable. The Wellington Straight may be landable if we really jump on the brakes, but I'm not confident enough in my own abilities to make a guarantee. The infield is really crowded here, actually. Where could we set this thing down? I'm actually having some difficulty trying to ascertain what is three-dimensional and what is two-dimensional. I'm not sure here. Yeah, right there, the infield of the Stowe circuit, I believe. Yes. Not the one that's perpendicular to us right now, but the other little offshoot runway. That I think is going to be our best bet, and I think our better bet to approach it is going to be from the angle that we're starting to fly into now. If we make 180-degree turn from this heading, roughly, that's how we're going to attempt to land here. High risk, very much high risk. We got to get this thing slowed down as much as possible beforehand. But we're going to attempt it. And there's the A43, which one astute commenter with lots of local knowledge had suggested to me to use as a landmark. Start to get our flaps out. We'll make our turnaround. Start a rather steep descent. And we will hope So all holy hell that we can get this thing stopped in time. I lost my bearings here. That's the A43. Okay. It's an angle of attack stall. All right, we're all organized again. Should we spot where we're trying to set this thing down? That would be helpful. All right. Target sighted. This may have some interesting results. Gear coming. Gear down and locked. 3 green. You really got to be on the mark with this one. Fixed wing airplane hasn't landed here in probably 75 years. Coming down. We're down. This actually has some tarmac. We are hard on the wheel brakes immediately. Okay, we're down. And it looks like we actually are going to be okay. There's some tarmac here. There's some grass. We've actually got a bit of an apron. All right, so I can say that I have actually landed at RAF Silverstone. How about that? Let's get this thing turned around. So that when it comes time to leave, we'll be able to get some speed up before trying to take off. If we were able to stop from 90 knots or so, we should be able to hit 90 knots. Look at this thing pointed in roughly the direction that we want. We'll set the parking brakes. Battery master on with alternators off. Engine stopped. Good. Okay. So we are shut down and we are landed. Okay, so we're in the infield, as we expected. Doesn't look too bad. Lots and lots of apartment buildings around here, it would appear. What else is around here? Let's get ourselves a camera that makes sense in terms of being able to move it around. You can hear the airplane ticking itself cool there, much like a car does. That's interesting. However, if we zoom out, we go up into the sky, what do we see? Well, we see Silverstone. That is pretty well recognizable as being Silverstone as we go up into some low cloud cover. There it is. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Cool. So you can see that we're landed here at the end of one of the old runways. What's left of one of the old runways anyway, and you can see plainly why I selected this one to land on, because this one has got a big building down it. Of course, these are all part of the Stowe circuit, I believe, one of the infield circuits available. This is where Richard Hammond drove the Renault R25 several eons ago. But you can see we've got, an apartment block here. But plainly visible, you can definitely tell that this was a runway many, many moons ago, and I assume helicopters still land here from time to time. Very cool. Let's see. The other runway, one that we have landed on. Is there any remnants of this actually being marked as a runway? Doesn't really seem to be, other than the hash marks down the center line. But that's cool, nonetheless. Returning to what should be more recognizable to all of us, though, this is start-finish on the current Grand Prix circuit. I suppose we could have landed here as well. It was a little bit hard to tell from the air, and we might have clipped these trees with the left wing coming in, because I would have wanted to land in the direction of travel. But nonetheless, we're here. Here's the pit lane, and you can see that we have got this industrial warehouse-looking building here in place of the, what I believe is a ghastly-looking Silverstone wing. But you can see we have got an industrial warehouse replete with replaced broken windows and garage doors. We go inside, you can see, yes, absolutely nothing inside the procedurally generated building. But you can see the pit entrance and then the pit lane itself. Not bad. Not bad at all. You can see the shadow in the shape of the wing building, but obviously not replicated here. On the other side, we have got some more, looks to be office buildings, things like that. No internal details on that, but these interesting, suppose they would, yeah, they're balconies. Cool. With your HVAC units on top. Pretty cool. And then no raised gantry structures or anything. But coming down the start-finish straight, this is a view that looks somewhat familiar anyway. There is turn 1. Turn 2, there's the pit exit. Now, do they have the dip in the road that really shows the pit exit? No, they don't. There's a big rise right about here in terms of how the pits rejoin the circuit. A little bit of a rise here in this section that's replicated nicely, but not so much in terms of the really exaggerated topography that's in that particular stretch of road. Coming into the infield section, real slow corner in an F1 car. Squirt of full power for a moment. You can even see that there are some cars on the racing line. Appear to be tin tops. Cool. And into the loop section. Not bad. Certainly not bad. The Wellington Straight. Now, I thought that there was a bridge here, which is why we didn't try to land on Wellington. And this is coded as tarmac, obviously, but it is not a raised bridge. It was really hard to tell that from the air because, number one, the shadow, and number two, you can see where the boundaries are between what the game codes as gravel and then tarmac. So we could have landed on the Wellington Straight as well. Now that I know that, we may yet try to drive around some of this, as it were. The old bridge corner has got several houses stacked on top of each other. Interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Merry-go-rounds and fairground rides here. That's odd. This is the actual bridge, which is, again, just coded as tarmac, same as the bridge over the Wellington Straight, and then back to Abbey. But coming through the old Priory corner and into Luffield. Does the road drop away at all as it does in reality? A little bit of positive camber. Not too bad. And then you can see more office buildings right here. Interesting. Through Woodcut, the old pit lane, and here is where the circuit is truly impassable because we have how many not office buildings, but warehouses here with garages? Lots of them. Yeah, there are tens of thousands of square feet of space here inside these buildings, and then there's another building crossing the track perpendicularly, just for the hell of it, it would appear. But the scan does appear to continue through these buildings. So you can see the grid slots here, but unfortunately this renders the entire straight basically impassable. A little bit of tarmac rendered here coming into Cops, but there is Cops, and yep, we got trees. The exit of Cops, we have trees, not many of them, but we do have them. The old pit exit right there with some trees coming through into Maggots, Beckets, and Chapel. That's odd. That's a signboard. Yep, you can see the shadow of it. That is one of those signboards that evidently the scan was taken when there was nothing on it because you can see straight through it, but one of the signboards rendered flat, of course. You can see the rubber laid down on the racing line through Maggots and Beckett's. And the chapel corner. Hangar straight. Could we have landed here? I think we could have. Yep. Again, from the air that looked very three-dimensional. And in reality, it is not, at least in terms of rendering here. Of course, that would be a bridge traversing the circuit down Hangar Straight. Coming down the end of Hangar Straight into Stowe. They do have the elevation change through Stowe. It seems a little bit exaggerated, but yes, there is a bit of a rise and a bit of a fall. There's the current pit entrance, some more trees on the circuit, and then the Vale corner, the older version of the corner, and then the tightened up modern version, which now leads back onto the start-finish straight. So, yeah, Silverstone is not passable in terms of being able to do an uninterrupted lap in an airplane, but we now know that we can land on the Wellington Straight and the Hangar Straight. So, do we attempt to take off again and make a landing? I'm going to try and make a landing on Hangar Straight. I think we could do that. And I think it's a worthy use of your time here. We will get power back on here. Right engine started, the left engine did not. Now they're both up. Going to give ourselves a bit of an engine run-up. Make sure we are at full throttle. Give the props a chance to spool up. Now we'll release the brakes. Flaps are all the way down for maximum lift. Because we're going to have to do a really steep climb out of here real quick. I have not thought this through. We're up. Shooting the world's smallest gap for a little bit of insurance, but we're going to clear the buildings. That's good. Gear coming up. The trees are higher than the buildings were. But we are over the treetops. Yeah, and only now have we hit our nominal takeoff speed. So yes, you can see the magic of flaps. Alright, so we want to try and make a landing on Hangar Straight. I need some airspeed here before we fall out of the sky. Okay. So, this is Hangar Straight, Stowe corner. I would like to go in the direction of travel, if at all possible. All right. And getting buffeting all the way. This plane likes to get bounced around on the wind. And then way out in the distance at about 1 o'clock, I can see the wind turbines that we got lost at last time around. There are more wind turbines right here. There's no way that this one, I think there's only one there. Is there? Yeah, okay. We saw 2 of them last time we did this. There was no way that I got this close to the circuit and didn't see it last time out. Now I feel slightly better about myself. Not really. Then again, the day that I feel good about myself is the day that you know something is very wrong. Anyway, existential crises aside, there's Hangar Straight. We still need to be pretty tight about this. Getting the flaps down. Now, the good thing about this airplane is that it does bleed off speed a lot the moment you level out, so that's good. There is hangar straight. Ignore my instinct to avoid the bridge down the middle because it's not actually there. Gear coming. Gear down and lock. 3 green. There's the chapel corner, and then right away we gotta set it down. We're gonna get bounced in the air a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we're on hangar straight. That's all well and good. Let's drive around a little bit. Retract our flaps so we don't accidentally take off prematurely. And you can hear that the airplane does not particularly like this. There's stow corner. Getting back on the power. Yeah, look at that. There's the exit. Lewis Hamilton, who? Look at that, right on the racing line. Dropping down into the Vale. Hard onto the brakes. It's a tight left-right chicane. Where's the curb? There's the curb. Accelerating all the time. The final corner. Yes, very good. We gotta watch the left wing here on the trees. We'll clear them. Right. Turn 1. Use the curbing on the entrance. Can we take one flat out? Yes! Yes, we can! Okay. It's good. Braking. Right. Off of the wheel brakes. Going a little fast, but that's okay. A little squirt of power again before we really get it slowed down for the loop. Understeer setting in. There's the exit. Full power. This corner is flat in an F1 car. It's barely a corner. And it's flat in an airplane too. 46 knots. Look at that. All the way down the Wellington Straight now. We should have decent acceleration. There's the bridge that kept me from landing here last time. Brakes. Brakes, brakes, brakes. What do they call this corner now? Brooklands? Something like that. I'm always going to call it Priory. But here's Luffield. And then we start to run into the buildings that are going down the straight. So unfortunately, this is where our lap ends. At least up to this point. But that's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. I'm not going to try and shoot that gap between the apartment blocks and the warehouse. So sorry. But we can backtrack our way some. Back to the straight. To the Wellington Straight, that is. Through Luffield backwards. I don't think I've ever driven Silverstone backwards, now that I come to think of it. And onto the Wellington Straight. We are going to take off. Got our flaps all the way down. It seems to be tarmac right here for the most part. Some grass growing through it, but not too bad. Got plenty of room, plenty of time. We're up. Make a little bit of a turn. Flaps all the way up. I would like to try and take Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. It'll require us to land on the hangar straight again and then turn around, or just go in the opposite direction. Let's go in the opposite direction. Hangar straight is back that way. There's stow. Flaps coming out. Gear coming down. 3 green, gear down. There we go. Don't line up with it until you're right down on it. That's good. Cleared the buildings. There's hangar straight. Be a little lopsided on touchdown. That's fine. Get our wheel brakes working. All right. Okay, so on to hangar straight. This is Chapel Corner coming up on us in reverse, of course. Got ourselves some power. Flaps are up. Through Beckett's. Give me some brakes. Go. We got some trees. Evasive maneuvers. Yes. Okay. So, that's about as far back as we can go. This is Cops Corner, of course, that we're coming into now. Some more trees over here. It's rather unfortunate. Thankfully, though, we do have a lot of space off to our left so we can get around these trees without much difficulty. Okay. Now we can lay back into the throttles a bit. To Maggots, the right way around this time. Cool, cool, cool. To the Beckett's corner. That's flat out in a 2020 car. Lots of understeer. We're going off. Yep. I've seen quite a few drivers do that in reality. And Chapel. and a hanger straight. Give it some flap all the way down. This is practically like a runway. We can lift off, make a quick turn off to our right, bring the gear up, angle of attack warning there. Flaps are up. Awesome! So we, apparently, we found Silverstone, folks. It only took us 2 tries, but we found it because I am woefully inept. I am so very woefully inept. But we done found it, and it looks good. And I am terribly sorry that I suggested that Microsoft Flight Simulator could possibly have made such a fundamental error as to completely omit something as iconic as Silverstone, because there it is, quite obviously. And from here it should be and I say it should be, but it will be, because I can already see it on our display. Should be a fundamental affair to get back to Torveston. In fact, I can see Torveston right there. Yep. Hello, Torveston. We're coming in. Looks like we're going to be runway 27. So if all I had done was turn around after taking off last time, we would have found it. Runway 27. Coming in. There's no tower here, so we just announce it.
Echo Golf Bravo Tango Traffic Diamond Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is on final runway 27 to land.
Gear, come in. Gear down and locked. We are down. All right, so mission accomplished, ladies and gentlemen. We found Silverstone. We did not get lost, and we're back to where we started, which is absolutely wonderful. That's what we intended to do last time, and that's what we so miserably failed to do last time, because for the 18th time in this video, I'm inept. Absolutely I am. Get everything shut down. But yeah, there we are, back where we started at Torveston. There's the airplane. Yeah, we found Silverstone. It took us 2 attempts, and now about 90 minutes in total spent on this subject. But we did it in the end. We survived to tell the tale, and unfortunately, we still have another tale of an impassable racetrack in Flight Simulator. Catalunya remains the only racetrack that has been passable for us, and I really, really, really want to find something that we can hot lap again. We were able to do a good chunk of the lap at Silverstone, but buildings down start-finish, down the old start-finish, buildings there. It just, it's annoying. I hope that someday somebody will make some mods to replace some of these circuits here, because it would be really cool to be able to do a series of hot laps around these Formula One tracks and whatever racetracks we have. I suppose, technically speaking, Pocono could have been hot lappable as well, but there's not a whole lot to see because, well, it's an oval, as it were. But regardless, mission accomplished. We found Silverstone, and then we got back in one piece. There it is. This terrible wrong has been righted, and perhaps maybe some of your respect for me has been returned, although I very significantly doubt that. Until next time, though, I do thank you all very much for watching. Ferrari Bound 601 saying thank you very much, and of course, we will see you soon.